So we have 1 hour, then we have a break, and then we have another hour. In the first hour, we will talk about the content, so your elevator pitch. We will structure some components of an elevator pitch. So whenever this question pops up here at Change, you know you have your answer ready. Then we have a break, and then in the second half, we will talk about presentation-wise skills. Maybe we should introduce each other ourselves also.
Right. So my name is Jenny Hasenack. I work for the KNCV. That's the Dutch Association for Chemists or chemistry-related things. And I studied chemistry, and then I became a science communicator, and that's why I'm here.
Yes, yeah. I'm a former science journalist, so I interviewed a lot of scientists. Didn't pursue a PhD myself because I'm way too impatient. So I have a lot of respect for people who do. And now I work at a company called Lecture, where we hire scientists in order to get lectures to bigger companies who want to have, well, more fascinating lectures than the everyday lecture. So without further ado, I think we should start with the first exercise. Yeah. And for this, we are going to use the room. So you can leave your seat, because we are going to walk here in this space. As soon as you find someone that you think is interesting, then you will have 1 minute for a short conversation. You will talk about your research to your partner, and in exchange you get a small story back. Now remember this story very carefully, because at some moment we will ring this lovely bell right here, like this, and then the conversation time is up, and you switch to another partner, and you will share the story of your previous partner as if it was your own. Okay, so without further ado, you can stand up and, you know, mingle across this room. No. Okay. Mental notes you can. Yes. Yeah. So please go and find.
Yeah, you can in the middle of these.
Just like it was a walk in the park or something like that.
So the minute is over. You can now switch to another person and tell the story.
You can switch to another person. Please bring your new story with you. Okay, so attention please. So you've all had a story that you've brought to the other person as if it were your own. Now we're going to do this one more time. However, now you have 2 stories to choose from the second round, from the first round and from the second round, so you can choose. You can choose which story fits best for you and share it with the other person as if it was your own research again. We will ring this time as soon as it is time to switch from storyteller and listener. Okay?
Okay, thank you. You can take a seat again. And then we will, Marloes will tell what to do now.
Yeah. Yeah. I heard a lot of rotating molecules and a lot of building blocks. That's nice. So I'm very interested to hear from you guys. What works? Because if you're sharing another story from someone else, then what were the parts that you remembered best? And what were the parts where you thought, completely lost there, you know, I just forgot about that part. So when receiving a story, what made it easy for you to share this story across? What works? You can just shout it out. I will write it down here on this thingamabob. Flip over.
Simple names, I mean not chemical names, but simple terms.
Yeah, simple terms, right, yeah. Yeah, so I'll write down simple words then.
Oh, yeah. It needs to be relatable.
Relatable, oh yes.
To be able to understand it on some level, otherwise can't.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yes, right. Yeah, good one.
Yeah, use of analogies to explain difficult.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. Have you heard a nice one that you can share?
Not necessarily in this case, but it's something that I think is very important when you want to explain a difficult subject.
Right, so for the next time, if you would know that this exercise would happen, then an analogy. Okay, yeah?
I'm not sure if this overlaps with relatable, but
yeah.
also relevant.
Relevant, right?
Oh yeah, great.
Yeah. And do you have an example for us?
So yeah, I heard about optimizing the organic soil cells, and while the other person did not really, well, yeah, he did explain why we would want organic soil cells, and that made it easier for me to remember.
Right. Nice. Nice. Do we have one more to top it off?
On broad lines, not the molecular detail. I don't care about the compound.
Yeah.
Just the goal.
The goal.
The problem and the goal.
The purpose. So it's also a bit like relevant, but like.
Yeah, but only in broad terms.
Yeah, not the method, but the
Yeah,
goal. Yeah.
Broad terms.
Right. Nice. Okay, great. Now I think we can work on this.
Yeah, really nice.
Yes, bring it on.
All right, so I don't know if you have ever seen it, but the KNCV has a project that's called Eye Openers, and it's especially about this, about telling about your research in 1 minute. And we have some great examples of scientists that have only 1 minute to explain what they do and why. And I want to show you one, because I think it's a great example of also what we are trying to teach you here today about how do you communicate your research in 1 minute. So it will be, works.
Imagine you're diving into the ocean. You descend 200 meters and you reach the ocean floor, where you see these bubbles popping up into the water. Imagine you go even deeper into the ocean floor looking for the source of these gas bubbles. Well, this is what I do, because these bubbles are methane, a greenhouse gas more potent than carbon dioxide for global warming. Some microorganisms living in the ocean floor produce lots of methane, while some other microorganisms can consume almost all of that methane, preventing very large methane emissions from the ocean. But with the ocean getting warmer, these microorganisms could produce more methane, or they could not be able to consume more methane, increasing methane emissions from the ocean, which could accelerate climate change. Therefore, in a research ship, I collect sediments from the ocean floor. Then I put them into bottles so I can study how these microorganisms live, to create strategies to control methane emissions from the ocean, so that we can solve big problems like climate change using tiny microorganisms.
Yes.
Yeah, so I think that's a really good example of someone explaining about their research in a really short time in such a way that you will probably remember it tomorrow, what she said. And a good pitch also, always has the same elements. And two of those elements are the problem and the solution. And for her, for example, the problem she's describing is that the ocean is getting warmer and the microorganisms might produce more methane, accelerating climate change, but we don't know exactly. That's the problem she's describing. And then the solution she has is to study those microorganisms and see if they can help combat climate change. So what we would like to do is that you try to think of your own research and about what problem you are solving, and then how you are solving it. And try to think about the problem as urgent as possible. So you might, I think we also, we said it like the goal, and it has to be relevant. So you might see the problem as very specifically chemically, but try to take it broader than that. So she's really talking about climate change, about the urgency for the world, for society.
Yeah.
So I think that's good to try to describe the problem of your research in that way.
Yes. And for this one, you can just stay in your chair and write it down for yourself. We just take a couple of minutes, so it will be very short. So please write down for your own research what's the problem and what's the solution, what you are working on.
Yeah. Okay, so if you're done or about done with this, I would really like to hear one of the examples of someone who would like to share their problem and solution? So.
Yeah, who wants to share their problem? You won't be taped with microphones, so you can speak up freely. Yeah, so who would like to share the problem and solution from their research?
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So in my project there are actually two problems. So first that there is currently a lot of CO2, carbon dioxide in our atmosphere.
Mm.
And secondly that we are running out of fossil fuels, so for example oil to run our cars on.
Yeah.
And I want as a solution pose that we use CO2 from our atmosphere to produce new fuels. But first therefore we have to find out the reaction mechanism on how to do this.
Right.
That will be my goal.
Exactly. So you're in the first step of that solution now. Okay. I think that's a very clear example of a problem that is really needs to be solved, and a clear solution on how to do that.
Yeah, the goal is very clear.
Yeah, it's really very relevant, relatable. Yeah.
Okay, thank you for sharing. Who else likes to share problem and solution?
Yeah?
Yeah.
Despite decades of research, we still do not understand the phenomenon of self-organization to the point where we can build functional, artificial, self-organizing systems.
That's a problem, right?
That's the problem.
Yes.
Yeah.
Solution: a simple model system composed of floating self-organizing droplets with local chemical signal delivery could provide new insights in the study of self-organization and serve as a basis for a functional, artificial, self-organizing system.
Thank you. And with the first one, so what would be the problem if we don't know this, if we don't have access to this kind of information? What would be like the bigger problem?
Yeah, explaining the relevance always needs a couple more sentences for this one. Basically in nature is very good at organizing things. You can imagine patterns on butterfly wings or on zebras, but also in the brain. The brain is constantly reorganized over the course of a lifetime.
Right.
And if we can replicate that in artificial systems, then we could make, for example, computer networks that optimize themselves over time, leading to a new generation of smart materials.
Yes. Right. Learning by nature. Somewhat, yeah, you want to say something?
Well, okay.
Thank you. When we hear the problem and solution, then most of the times it makes sense. However, it still is not really gripping us sometimes, because we need a third ingredient for this. When we listen to someone else's research topic about the problem and solution, then most of the time, you know, it can be come across like, okay, so good for you, go on with that. So we need another thing here. We need what's in it for me. We will call it the benefit. And in order to find the benefit, we need to know who our audience is. So can we do a quick brainstorm about what kind of target audiences we could have? Family, yes. Family.
You say that like you have explained your research to family a lot. Good.
The Christmas table, yep. Yes, family, yeah.
Yeah.
Students?
Students,
yeah.
Yes. Yes, students.
Peers.
Peers, for sure. We've just done that. Yes.
Grand juries.
Yes. Potential grants.
Colleagues from a different field also.
Yes.
Do you mean a different field within chemistry, or?
No, just for example.
Just, right. Yeah.
Really different.
Yeah.
Students, fellow scientists.
Other
Yeah.
scientists, something like that.
Policymakers?
Scientists.
Yeah, great one.
Oh yes, policy. Policymakers. Yes, yeah.
Investors?
Oh, sorry?
Investors.
Investors? Yes, nice one. Investors. Okay, so for this next exercise, please think of a target audience that you would like to get your story across. And for this exercise, we're going to make pairs. Now you can just sit in your chair, so I think that you will be a pair then, and you will be a pair, you will be a pair, you will be a pair, you will be a pair. We have a pair here, 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 and you will be a pair. So that, yes, great. So we don't have one person singled out. And one of you will be the storyteller, and one of you will be the listener. The storyteller will give the listener a role. So you are a potential investor, or you are a student, or you are my mother, my family member. The more specific you can be, the more you will gain from this exercise. Then the storyteller will share the problem and solution. And the other person will just say, so what? And you will answer this. If person B is not yet convinced, then you can address again, yeah, so what? And you give another answer. And maybe you will hear another, so what? You go until the listener says, okay, this is a convincing answer to me. Then you will switch. So then person B is a storyteller and person A will become the listener and also gets a role. If there is more time and we haven't ringed already, then you can switch again and you can give person B another role. So you can say, okay, so for a student I would say it in this way, but maybe for a policymaker I would address it in a different way. Are there any questions about this exercise? No? Great, let's do it.
All right, thank you. How was that for you? How was it to do? Hard, good. I see people looking happy, so I think that's good.
Who was convinced by the partner? Great. What did you hear?
What I hear?
Yes.
I hear.
What was your role in the first place?
I was the family man.
The family man.
Yeah. Family man.
The family man.
In the room.
Yes.
And I get a very clear story about molecular machines, or not about molecular machines, about actually moving molecules which could, in the end, repair scratches in my car.
Nice.
Not tomorrow, but in 10 years or 30 years. I was immediately locked.
Yes, I can imagine. Okay, nice. Nice one. Can I see some hands again? Who was convinced? No one is convinced anymore. No. Yeah, can I ask you? What was your role? Yes.
I was a pharmaceutical company.
Oh, okay. Pharmaceutical company. Okay.
Yeah.
And what was the argument that you thought, oh?
So the argument per research was about basically substituting living models like mice or even testing in humans for just tissue of liver and intestine. So that means that you don't have to have thousands of mice tested, but you can just have one liver sliced into pieces and use it for different testings.
Cool.
Drastically decrease the number of first living testing subjects, and second also money, because that's very expensive.
Yes, I was waiting for the money part. Yes.
Like they are, yeah.
Thanks, great. Who else would like to share the convincing story of his or her partner? Suddenly everyone gets so shy, yeah.
So I heard a story about developing a new type of fluorescent label for DNA labeling.
Okay.
And apparently the ones that are currently used are very mutagenic, so they mutate your DNA. So this is not only poses difficulties for doing research on the cells, but it also poses risks for the one who is conducting the research. So yeah, they're trying to develop alternatives that are not mutagenic.
And what was your role? What was the target audience? You was a what?
A peer.
A peer, okay. And you were convinced by this story as a peer, so you thought, yes, thumbs up, go for it. Cool, thank you. How was it to do this? So the former question was like, what did you hear that was convincing, and how was it to do this? To add the third part to it, problem, solution, benefit. It's the other way around. see some people thinking really hard.
How was it to do this?
Yes.
That was the question.
Yes, yes. So to add to benefit.
I don't think I did
How is
very
that too?
well. I found it really hard.
It's really hard?
Because I wasn't speaking to you as a student, although I made you be a student. I was just talking to you like you were a scientist. So yeah, no, I found it really hard.
Yeah. And what did you try to convince from the students? So what was your goal with the student in this case?
I basically forgot they were a student.
Right.
So I don't think I really followed the task.
Yeah. So therefore you didn't get the proper reaction back because...
well, in terms of explaining it to a peer, I think it worked very well.
Right. So just change the target audience and then you're good. Okay, cool. What else? Some experiences.
I find it really hard to be like, of course I'm not working on scratches on cars and I'm not standing there like repairing car, but like then that's just kind of where the conversation can lead when you're just trying to come up with something.
Right.
That's like really far-fetched from your research and then you feel kind of you're betraying your research or something.
Yeah, I heard that from multiple of you, that I'm not really working on scratches on cars or like far in the future this is happening. But it's also, you don't have to talk the whole conversation about scratches of cars, but you give your audience something like why should they be interested in your story. If you start right away with molecules and difficult names, then people will just like their eyes glaze over and oh yeah, interesting. If you start with something why it's relevant, why it's important, then they know why they should listen to you. Right?
Yeah. Unfortunately, we do need this hook first before we can give all the information there. But it's yes, it's a good one to address because it's a thought that pops up.
Yeah, it differs from target audience to target audience as well, like how much they need that hook. I think for peers it's easier, but for your mom maybe it's
for a layman.
Yeah, for a layman.
And for grounds.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Let's move to Jorgen. Right?
Yeah. Okay. So I want to talk to you about. We already said it, right? That we should use simple words.
Yes.
And in my experience, it's really easy to forget which words are simple. If you're deep into research, you think words are basic knowledge, but then if you talk to normal people, you realize they are not. And so to test that, Marloes and I have asked our friends what typical chemistry words mean, and I want to show it to you what they think it means, because I think it's good to realize that words you think, or I also might think that are common knowledge, are maybe not common knowledge, and they might confuse people. So the first word we asked our friends is organic chemistry. Do you have any idea what people outside of chemistry would think this means? Food? Yeah.
Something with plants.
Something with plants. Yeah.
Vegans?
Vegans? Something with organs.
Yeah, with organs. Okay. Yeah. Well, that's not far away because that processes that take place in nature, so not by humans, which I thought I don't know. I mean, a lot of humans are working on this. Chemistry without pesticides. So really good. And biological chemistry. So you could easily see where a conversation could go wrong if people think they understand what you mean by organic chemistry, but they really don't. Also had nanomaterials. Do you have any idea what people think this means?
Scary small things.
Scary small things. Yeah, I think
just materials, but smaller.
Right. Yeah.
Tiny bricks.
Like
Tiny Lego bricks.
Exactly. That someone said very small materials like the Higgs boson and other molecules, though. So I mean, it's not wrong, but also not really right. Miracle material, which is I think the opposite of what you said.
Yeah.
People think nanomaterial can solve all our problems, and small stuff for computers. We also had excited state. You probably all know what this means, but my friends did not. What do you think our friends thought this meant?
Being happy?
Being happy? Yeah, I think it's also being enthusiastic about something, or state you're in if you succeed. Or someone said California, which I thought was really clever. So keep that in mind the next time you're talking about excited state. What?
What's their state slogan? Is it something to do with that?
I don't know. But I think marijuana is legalized in California. I thought
Okay.
can't give her that.
That'll do it.
That'll do it.
Electron hole. Those of you working on photomaterials probably know what this means. So our friend thought it's a very small hole.
Kind of true.
That's, I mean, not wrong, but also a hole in an electron, or a black hole where electrons come through. And I mean, we can laugh at this. It's also really funny, but also it's your responsibility to use words that people will not warp into something like this. Oh yeah, I had macromolecules. What do you think people think that means?
Molecules you can get wholesale.
Stuff that bodybuilders eat.
Oh, right. Yeah. Like the macronutrients. Yeah, people said a molecule is bigger than H2O. I mean, it's true. Molecules that are programmed to do something. I think someone was thinking of Excel there. Yeah. And very small molecules. Macro and micro mixed up. Okay, so the last one I had is radical polymerization. And this is also a word that I interviewed chemists once for eye-openers, and I asked them, please don't use chemical words. Use words that like someone of 13 years old would know, and then came up with radical polymerization, which I thought 13-year-olds probably don't know. What do you think our friends think this means?
Something with terrorism.
Something with terrorism, yeah. What did you say? Oh, the same, yeah. Okay, something turning into a polymer and then starting a revolution.
Sounds like good sci-fi.
Yes. Which is like halfway there.
You have creative friends.
Very fast expansion of species. I don't know where that came from.
Oh yeah.
And last one, someone said, I don't know, but radical is never good. Right, so I just want to give you these examples of how specific words can mean something very different if you're not into chemistry. And I think we'll go to the break now.
Yes. Yeah? So we'll see you back in 30 minutes, and then we'll dive into the last hour of this workshop. So see you in a bit. Welcome back, everybody. So, at the beginning of this workshop, you've shared stories with one another, and we've learned that these are some ingredients that are very beneficial when sharing a story. And here we have one that we have not discussed yet, so we would like to do that. And we have a warm-up exercise for this to spark up some creativity. And to do this, we would like to divide you into two groups. So one group can come together with me here.
Yeah, maybe like until this table from there.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
And the other group can come stand with me here.
So maybe these people here. And we're going to make a circle. So we have two circles.
Yeah, maybe we should go a little bit through here, otherwise we can hear what they say. Okay, so the idea of this.
What we're going to do is we're going to give a word.
So we're going to do
I'm going to give you a
an association round. So I'm going to say a word, and you can say a word that comes up into your mind when I say this word. So there's no wrong answers.
Okay.
It's just the way your brain works. So for some people it might be super logical, for other people it might be very weird. So we can just start saying a word, and then you can just say, and we go through the circle. So I will start with apple.
Fruit. You said fruit? Mm-hmm. Vegetable?
Vegetable, right?
Dessert.
Dessert. Nice. Taste.
Pasta.
Hello?
Hungry.
Hungry.
Stomach.
Yellow. Banana.
Say
Yeah, but whatever comes to your mind.
or to apple.
No, from what he's saying. Yeah.
What the
Chemistry.
fuck? Chemistry. Oh, difficult.
Science. Molecules. Atoms. What? Atoms.
Atoms.
Yeah.
Apple?
Adam's apple.
Yes, nice.
Adam's apple.
Atoms.
Nice.
Human.
Human.
What are you saying again?
Ice cream.
Ice cream. Sunday.
Animal.
Bone.
Ooh, marrow. Someone's a scientist. Such a nerd.
Blood poisoning.
Blood poisoning.
Dead.
Dead. Alive.
Skeleton.
You always go.
Organs. Slices.
Worms.
Worm?
Worms. Worms.
Okay. Oh, worms. Soil.
Yes. First thing that pops in your mind. Dirty.
Mud.
Mud.
Plants.
Yes.
Photosynthesis.
Photosynthesis. Leaves. Leaves. Trees.
Flowers.
Sun.
Umbrella.
Yes.
Warm.
Sunny beach.
No.
Oh, sand.
Hermit crabs.
I mean, the first thing I thought of was cool, honestly.
Cool.
Yeah, because they're cool.
Cool. Then I'm thinking of word cold. Cold, cold. Winter.
Snowpop. Snowpops are cool, man.
Snowflakes. Snowflakes.
Orlando. Disney, you said
Water.
Disney.
Water.
Yeah.
Redshift.
Yes.
Motor?
Motor. A car.
That's good.
Scratch.
Scratch. Yes. Yes. Nice one.
Fix. 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 Yeah. Like fix. Scratch. Pain.
Germs.
Small.
Small.
Tall.
Yes. Tall.
Oak trees again.
Yes.
Sorry, oak trees or
Oak trees.
Oak trees.
acorns?
Acorns.
Seed.
Seed and a plant again. Okay, let's wrap it up with this. I'm going to Jenny. Don't move. Zullen we een rondje doen met moeilijke woorden en dan even plenair uitleggen?
Wat wil je?
Dus bedenk even een jargonwoord voor jezelf. Dat we die even... Ja?
What did you actually say?
So, for the next exercise, we're going to try to make some nice analogies. But we need to have a starting point for this. We need to have a word which is difficult to grasp for a layman, but which is a word which is, you know, a comfortable word for you to use. So please think of a difficult word where you would like to have a metaphor for, an analogy.
As a group?
No, for yourself.
For yourself.
Yes, for yourself, and then we will do a quick round of words. So first word you're thinking of.
Framework.
Framework, nice.
Photo switch.
Yes? Yes? Ball assets, yes? Yeah? So you need a difficult word from your research field, which your grandma won't understand. You can think about it for...
Of such a word that you may...
Yeah, but you don't need to think about an analogy right now. You only need a word.
People might not know.
Just a difficult word where you think, damn, I wish I had an analogy for that one.
If you have it, I would like to hear it as well.
Which one?
What's your word?
Yeah, you wanted to have the same one? You can. It's no worries, you can.
Synthesis.
Nice, yes. So spectroscopy. Thank you.
Electrocatalytic reduction.
Wow, nice one. Yes, perfect.
Emotions?
Glass transition temperature.
Okay.
Photochromism.
Okay, nice
Very
one.
complex.
Great. So we're all set then, and we're going to wait until Jenny's group is also set, and then we move into the next exercise. So think and remember your word.
Good.
That's the version of the catfish.
Yeah?
Multivalency.
Good. Nice
Yes,
words.
we all have difficult words here?
Yeah, we do.
Okay, great. Okay, so what we're going to do now, we're going to provide you with a very, hoe zeg je het in het Engels? Huis, tuin en keukenvoorwerp.
Yeah, very common object.
Very common object,
That
thank you.
everybody knows.
That everybody knows. And the trick is that in a few moments, you will mingle around again, you will find a partner, and you will discuss your word with this partner, and you will explain your word using an object that we will show on the screen. And maybe you have a nice example of a metaphor?
Yes, so one of the eye-openers we recorded was someone who was looking at nanomaterials and how you can look at them and look at how they perform. And she said it's like being a soccer trainer, but like without seeing any of the game, only the game result. That's my research. My research is like that. And that's a really nice metaphor too, like spark people's interest and then kind of emotion. Yeah.
So the trick is, my word is just like ... We will provide the dot for you because, and you give some explanation.
Right.
And if it's rubbish, no worries, you will get a different object in a while. Okay? So you have your word, you express it to the other person, and you get a word back. You don't need to remember this one.
No.
Okay, so please mingle around and find yourself a partner for this exercise.
And so this way of thinking of metaphors is the wrong way around because it's
yeah. Okay. Oh. Okay, so the first word, your word is like spaghetti because your word is just like spaghetti because.
Okay, so spectroscopy is just like spaghetti because using spectroscopy we are trying to
So we have a next word for you.
Yeah, you can find another partner.
Yes, you can mingle around, find another partner. Oh ja, dankjewel, thanks. Dat was vergeten. Okay. This one is great for chemists. Lego blocks. Thank you. We heard some great metaphors here, and we would love if you would like to share one with each other. So who has heard? Who wants to nominate one? Who wants to nominate a metaphor? Who has heard a nice analogy or a nice metaphor? Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Okay. Bring it away.
So my word was glass transition temperature.
Yeah.
And glass transition temperature is just like a coffee filter in the sense that if you have a coffee filter and it's dry, it's quite stiff. But if you make it wet, it becomes flexible, right? So if you take a plastic and you apply a bit of heat, which is the same sort of stimulus as applying water to a coffee filter, the plastic becomes a bit more flexible. And that same effect is the glass transition temperature. So it's not making anything liquid, but you apply a stimulus and it becomes slightly more movable.
Wow,
great.
Nice. Thanks. Yeah. Great one. Who wants to introduce a new metaphor? Or what was the nominate? That was the word I was searching for. Nominate. Yes, thanks. Yeah.
Okay, so this analogy with the coffee filter. So my research is focusing actually on the permeability of endothelial cell layer in case of diabetes, and how could I, how could I include coffee filter into this analogy? There are two conditions. There is a normal kidney and, for example, diabetic kidney. And in case of diabetic kidney disease, the kidney tissue is damaged. So I could compare normal wet coffee filter with the healthy kidney because it prevents coffee particles to going into our coffee. However, in the case of diabetic kidney disease, the kidney is damaged, so the filter has probably more holes in it. So these particles, which are proteins, in this case what I'm taking a look at, and they can pass through this filter into our coffee. So that's how we use coffee filter.
Nice. Very good. Thank you. And the spaghetti, has one heard a nice spaghetti metaphor? Yes? To whom are you pointing? Oh, yeah. Oh!
So my word was classifades, and it's supposed to be referred to peptides and proteins, mostly peptides. So as the spaghetti, you have pasta that they form a network. They combine with each other. They entangle with each other. So, and this is what my peptides do in these systems. So they aggregate with each other. They interact with each other, and this is called classifades. So that was my word.
Oh, really nice. Thank you. Great one.
All right, so you can keep standing for a little moment because we'll go into circles in a little bit. But I first want to say something about getting the attention. So when we showed you the eye-opener of Paula, who was talking about methane, she didn't start right away with her problem and her research. She started with a little introduction. And I think it's really nice if you can find something that gets the attention of the audience. And it works especially well if you're presenting or if you're recording a video or if you're writing something. One-to-one conversation is maybe a little bit weird if you say, imagine.
Imagine a world. Yeah.
So we're focusing now more on like the presentation style.
Yeah.
And there are basically 4 ways to do this with an audience. And the first is starting by telling a story. So maybe it would, for her, it would be I go on the ocean to the ocean floor and I take that kind of stuff. You can start with a question to the audience. Have you ever? You can start with a nice
fact, something interesting from your research. Do you know that?
Every day, 10,000 people, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Or you can start with your research question.
Yes.
Just right away ask it. And for the research question, I think you are dealing with that enough in your life. So we want to focus on the other two.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we're going to dive into the same circle that we've started.
Yeah.
So one circle there and one circle here. Just the same people again. Thank you. Okay.
Okay. So
first up, what we're going to do is we're going to start a speech, as you will, with just 1 or 2 sentences. And this start is an interesting fact. So think of an interesting fact about your research with which you could start a lecture. You don't need to do an entire lecture, just give us an interesting fact. Who of you already has one on top of mind? Mitch, go for it.
Did you know that sunflower seeds are arranged in a spiral pattern?
Nice, great one. Yes, perfect. And we're going to loop this way so you can follow along. Just the first thing that pops in your mind.
Okay.
Doesn't need to be.
Did you know that the protein in your body that makes all the energy that you use to move your muscles moves with a rotary motion?
Yeah.
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 All the materials that we use today can only be, like, they only work because we understand the fundamental molecular composition, like the smallest composition of the materials that we use.
Yes.
And we can design materials by designing the smallest parts of them.
It's like magic.
Yes.
Nice.
Polar bears are dying because the polar ice caps are melting because of the high concentration of CO2 in the air.
Yes. Yes.
Did you know that venom or toxins could be used in our advantage as a therapeutic to treat cancer?
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Did you know that we could completely replace animal models in drug development?
Yeah.
I think we all know diabetes is one of the 10 top reasons of human disease for fatal outcome.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
Did you know that we are currently driving on liquid dinosaurs?
Wow. Nice. It doesn't need to be earth-shaking. Just share something.
On the virus, can you talk about how scarily stable viruses are?
Oh, yeah.
And then about how that links to the self-assembly of units.
Right. Yeah. Nice.
Do you want to know an easy and effective way to use solar energy?
Nice.
Laughing gas is the third major greenhouse gas.
Okay. Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good because people think of it as something nice, funny. Yeah.
Do you know that one of consequences of Lyme disease could be constant tiresome and it's not curable?
Right. Yeah.
If you eat something, you taste it because it binds to your tongue, but then 10 minutes later it's gone. While if we make something by chemistry, like plastics, and 20 years later it's still there.
Nice. Yeah. Yeah, really good. So a lot of the facts started with "Did you know?" Of course, you don't have to do it like that. You can also say every year 15,000 people die because of. It's a bit more of a statement with personal taste. I would like to do also, the question to the audience. Have you ever seen? Have you ever been? Did you ever do? Something like that, or yeah. But let's go the other way around, so then you have more time to think. Sorry, Erik.
Ours is very fundamental.
Very fundamental, yeah.
So if you're struggling here by car or by bike,
Did you ever try to carry something on your own, but you couldn't? But then you went with a group and you managed?
Oh, really interesting. I would want to hear more about that. Yeah.
I didn't get what I was supposed to do.
Oh, sorry. So instead of starting with a fact, you can also start your presentation with a question to the audience. Like, how many of you have been to Saudi Arabia or something? But then something that's relatable to your research. So you're talking about...
It should be relatable to research.
Yes, exactly. So you're talking about Lyme disease, right? So I think a lot of people have some personal experience with that. Hopefully not, but everybody knows it.
How many of you guys you're bitten by ticks?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Like, yeah.
Have you ever thought about the not so funny side of laughing gas?
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Have you ever thought how magic the water is?
Oh, nice. Oh, really sparks imagination.
Have you ever tried to stick together a broken glass?
Sorry, what did you say?
Have you ever tried to stick together a broken glass or mug or something?
Nice.
Well, mine's a little disturbing. How many of you have suffered from herpes infection?
That's really nice.
The research I'm working on, the other research is about antiviral drugs.
Yeah. Oh, nice.
Herpes viruses.
People will probably not show hands with that.
But you know that 90% in fact.
Yeah.
Yeah, she knows it. Okay,
So how easy our lives would be if we could just bottle seawater.
Oh yeah. Have you, or maybe like, have you ever tried to drink seawater?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then super garbage. Yeah, nice.
Have you ever seen some people or animals left by medicine?
Oh, nice.
Have you ever imagined that we can build life from scratch?
How many hours of sunlight you would need to have the energy requirements of the whole Earth for a year?
Nice. You can ask people to guess.
Right.
And then, oh yeah, nice. Yeah.
Have you ever wondered how plants just survive on sunlight?
Nice. So there are like two different kind of questions. I think it's like, have you ever wondered, have you ever imagined? Which doesn't really have a concrete answer. And you also have the questions like, guess how much this is, or
just like spaghetti.
Have you ever had a tick on your arm, right? It's more concrete questions, but both are really good.
Still thinking?
And both, I really wanted to ask you more about it, but that's...
Well, what's the
science is like worth it?
Okay.
Who of you had to throw away a piece of plastic because it was broken?
Yes. Yes. Cool. Okay, cool. Thank you very much. Yeah. I'm going to... Yes, you're...
Thank you very much. It was really interesting.
Yes, great. An applause for yourself. Oké. Nou, te gek. Dan kunnen we nu mensen gaan vragen een verhaal te gaan doen.
Ja.
Dan wordt het echt spannend. So a very short recap of what we've just done. So we started off with what your problem and solution is, then the benefit according to your targeted audience, and we've discussed analogies and when a word is jargon, and this is when talking for a lay audience, it's jargon quite easily. So don't use difficult words for lay people. What we would like to do is invite a few of you to present his or her research according to these steps. Yes. So introduce it with either an interesting fact or a question to the audience, then dive into the problem and solution and the benefit. And in this case, let's assume that we are all lay people, so family members, for instance.
And we really have to say that you put this together in 2 hours, which is very, very short. So please don't feel the need to have like a super slick presentation. That's not the case. I'm really interested also in your research, because I heard like little snippets of it, and I'm really interested to see the full story.
Yes. So who dares to come up on stage and share?
Also, you might be wondering where those little name cards went. I have them here.
Yes.
We can have a volunteer, and then everybody will really like that person. So if you're here for networking, that might be a good idea.
Yeah.
Or I will randomly pick one, and then you have to
go. We have a random volunteer. So this is your chance, to share your research and to get some practice also on presenting.
Yeah.
Well, we know, we don't have the expectation that this will be like a super smooth presentation. No. We have all worked together, so we all know the steps that we've gone through. So who of you likes to go on stage? No?
Okay, then I will ask Marloes to pick one.
Yes. Yes. How do I pronounce it correctly? Tenzin?
Yeah.
Okay, Tenzin, come on up.
So I have to introduce my research.
So what you can do, and you can start off with an interesting fact or a question to the audience, whatever suits you. You can share your problem and solution and the benefit. Yeah. That's it.
Okay.
Yes.
Floor is yours.
Do you know that the most efficient light harvesting system in nature is not plant, but bacteria? And the question is, okay, you do know. We are wondering why some systems, some of these bacterial systems, some of these bacteria can harvest light so efficiently that they don't lose any energy that they have harvested. So every light energy that they absorb is transferred to the place where they need it. And how nature, in bacteria, they need it to survive, because some of them live in such a deep place inside ocean that they need to catch every light energy to survive. Now, we want to understand what is in there, what is the structures that are in there that leads to such functions. That's our research question. And we want
we want to understand that using spectroscopy and modeling to understand exactly how the structures that were found in these bacteria lead to such amazing functions. And yeah, that's what we are doing.
Oh, great. Nice. Thank you.
Thank you. Great. Do we have a volunteer there coming up? No?
I'm staying at another hotel and I have to go.
Oh, okay. Then this is the right moment. Bye. Have a good night and evening.
How was it for you to do?
No, a little bit, I was organized. So
Yeah.
I thought that was,
yeah.
It was, yes. But otherwise, if I organized, I think that was useful that starting with this kind of question.
Yeah. Nice.
Yes.
Really nice.
Okay. Is there someone who likes to
have this experience as well?
have this experience as well?
Okay, then we're gonna.
Okay. Let me see. Here we have Nina. Nina?
Just left.
Oh no! Oh no!
Nina is sitting
knew
here.
that. Even kijken. Selim? Selim? Selim?
Yeah. Applaus for Selim.
Yes, applause. And Selim, do you dare to speak with the microphone?
I don't think I need it.
No, you don't need it, but it's for the cameraman because he likes to.
Oh no.
You can clip it on your.
Yeah, you can also
keychain.
hold it.
You can also
in front
hold
of
it
you if you.
as long as the distance is the equal.
Did you know that if we follow our current energy habits in the next 20 years, the world will increase, the global temperatures will increase so much that it will be too late, it will be beyond the point of return, so it's no longer possible to reduce it to normal temperature levels. In my research, I use organic solar cells to, I do computer simulations to find new materials for organic solar cells that are more efficient than current ones that can harvest sun's energy in a better way, and so that we can solve this energy crisis in a better way. Yeah, so that was.
No, great. That's perfect. Thanks. And I also like it to have some positive feedback because it's nerve-wracking to stand here. So can we give some positive feedback? Like, what were the moments where we felt like, yes, I'm, intrigued now, or this works for me? Can I hear something from you guys?
I think the relevance was very well addressed.
Yes.
We should do something.
The problem was very urgent. Yes, indeed. And I see you nodding as well.
Well, I like how he described his the way he's solving his problem also. So the
method.
Yeah, the method.
Oh, yeah. Great. What was it about the method that you liked specifically? Like, so you say like the way he described it, was it very concrete or?
I guess the week was dead work, so yeah, just organic solar cells sounds interesting.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sounds interesting. Thanks. Okay. Next one?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Or are there any volunteers?
No.
Probably not. Shouldn't ask questions.
No, I like this game. Okay. Azim?
Yes.
We need to shuffle them.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, and we have a microphone for you too.
Thank
you. You can also put it on your keychain.
Okay. Hello everyone, myself Azim. Education-wise, I'm a biologist. Research-wise, I am more into chemical engineering, but right now I'm practicing my research in the field of soft materials. So basically, I work on bicontinuous emulsions. So I hope you guys know about emulsions, but when we talk about emulsions, generally things come to our mind is the drop phase emulsions, where we have nice interfacial area, which are applied to different applications for separation, interfacial catalysis, for different product formation. My research focuses on small domain bicontinuous emulsions, which are called as bigels. And we are trying to address different problems, such as miniaturizing the microreactors, separations, specific product formation, or to simply put, desalination of water also. We have a high surface area, small domain bigel structures, which can literally address to these problems. So it's a new material, and we are finding its application in different fields. Thank you.
Thanks. What feedback do we have? What were the moments where you thought, okay, this works?
I think when he related it to desalination of seawater,
yeah,
kind of puts the research into context.
Right.
Yes, putting it in context. Yes.
Yeah, because you can imagine why you would want to do that. Yeah. Really nice.
Should we do one more?
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Come on up. Should I do the microphone? Or? Oh, yes,
Yeah,
please.
if you want to, please.
Okay, to start on not such a happy note, how many of you know people who are suffering from cancer? So cancer is a very big issue for the society, and it's very difficult to treat if it's even possible. And usually how it's treated by using chemotherapy, which is not only destroying the cancer, but also destroying parts of the body and making the patient suffer. So wouldn't it be amazing if we could use a weapon already present in nature and control it to our advantage to specifically target cancer cells and destroy them? So my research focuses on attaching small molecules, which can be activated by light, to a natural biological toxin in order to control it by using light. Meaning we can shine light on the tumor where the toxin is and specifically kill only the tumor when we want it and where we want it. So if you want to hear more, you can come tomorrow to my talk.
Oh, great.
Thanks.
That's great. And we would like to hear more, I think.
Yes,
because it's
definitely. We would like to hear
so many
more.
questions.
So what constructive feedback do we have to give here?
It was done well, in a really simplistic manner, so I could understand, I could relate.
Yeah. So it's relatable, simple words. Yeah. Yeah. For sure. Yeah. So you're nodding also as well?
Me?
No, it was to your neighbor, but if you have something to add.
Yeah, we don't know what your name is anymore.
Very interesting story. And the question who has a relative with cancer is of course very in your face. And you're immediately hooked.
Yeah.
Yeah, very urgent beginning. Yes. Is there anyone else who likes to take the chance?
Yes.
Yes, Mitch. We have a microphone here.
So who ever wondered how a zebra gets its stripes? Or what is the connection between the wings of a butterfly and the brain? Well, it turns out that in nature there are many fascinating and often beautiful examples of this phenomenon that we call self-organization, where order is created from separate elements that are not organized. And in nature, this is used, for example, to create a full-grown organism from an embryo, and also to optimize neural networks in the brain over time. And in our group, in my research, we are trying to bring such functionalities to artificial devices and create systems that, like a brain, optimize themselves over time, I guess.
Oh, yeah. Good. Thank you.
Thanks. Some feedback here?
Things that worked well?
Strong intro.
Yes, strong intro, yes. Yes, for sure.
Yeah, really good.
Using simple words.
Yeah, and also because you have the image of a zebra in your mind. It really helps to see something in front of you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very vivid. So you're nodding?
I agree.
Yeah, you agree. Great.
Yeah, good. Thank you.
Thank you. Wil je nog iets vertellen over KNCV?
Yes, I would like to also. So the thing we've done today with explaining your research in 1 minute, and also the video I showed, really tie into eyeopeners.nl. You can visit this website to see all kinds of really great stories done in 1 minute for inspiration or to learn some new things. And also we are always looking for some scientists to tell their story in 1 minute. So if you're interested in that, you can write down this website.
And you will get prepped in
yeah,
a bit more.
Definitely. You don't have to do it like right away.
Yeah,
you will
not
get
like
a training.
This. Like, okay, so go in front of the camera and
exactly.
just do it. You have some
will get
time.
a training.
Yes.
Yes. So let's recap what we've learned today.
Let's recap what we've done today. So let me see. So we first started off with sharing stories with one another, and then we learned that there are several ingredients that help when sharing your story. And we've also worked with, with everyone. Great.
Yeah.
And then, even kijken, Jenny showed us the first video eye-opener from Paula of the microorganisms and the methane, which led us to the conclusion that first having a hook, so something that attracts attention, then stating the problem and the solution of your research is very beneficial to give a very clear structure, and then towards your targeted audience, you have several benefits. And this benefit differs from the target audience that you have in mind.
Yeah, it's the so what question.
It's the so what question.
Yeah.
So you can think of the person in front of you that you would like to address, and you think, okay, so if I would like to address my problem and solution, and this person asks to me, so what would be my answer? And then ask these questions several times, because the answer might just get stronger than the first one you got.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah?
Like in a presentation, when you, it's nice that you talk about the problem.
Yeah.
But in the very beginning, I mean, do you suggest also directly giving the solution, like to your colleagues?
Whether or not you
be part of the whole thing.
Right.
Right.
Whether or not you give the solution right away. Yes.
Yeah, I think it's in your presentation you will go in detail to your solution, but in your introduction you can be pretty general, and that's why we study with spectroscopy. We study this molecule.
You give your take-home message right in the beginning. The best stuff you've got right in the beginning. Why? Because the attention span of people slows down by the minute. So if you conclude with the most important thing that you have, then then that's just a missed opportunity. So your solution right in the beginning, yes, and your take-home message as well, because this together probably is your take-home message.
Yeah.
Yeah, no suspension in your presentation.
That comes afterwards.
Yeah, in a pitch you mean, right?
No, in a lecture as well. In a lecture you start with this, so you give it away immediately in the intro, and then you dive into the details. So why is this actually a problem? How is this caused by liquid dinosaurs? How am I working on this solution? You dive into the methodology and the benefit also.
But I think it's a good question of you, because today we've really focused on pitches, on doing your stuff in 1 minute. But like these are the building blocks that you can use for any presentation or any like story you're writing about your research. So then of course it will be a little bit longer. You are able to put in more detail, but this basic structure will also, it also works for a lecture of half an hour.
Yes, for sure. Okay, then we dived into the jargon words of our friends, they're not chemists, so now we know what was the last one? Radical. Yes.
Radical polymerization.
Now we finally know what it means to the world. We've studied analogies, and you find out that even a coffee filter could be a very nice metaphor to whatever difficult word you have to address. So just, find creativity in everything around you. And we've discussed how to get the attention, for instance, by asking a question directly to your audience. And it's very nice if you use interaction with your audience, raising a hand, for example, and you can even let them answer your question. You can experiment with this. It's really nice to do this. Or you can start with an interesting fact. There are several other methods, but these are the two that we've discussed. And then we've brought it all together with some very brave volunteers here on stage. So,
yeah, I think I would like to thank you all for your attention and
participation
and volunteering in the end. Great.
Yes.